Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. I'm actually doing two movie reviews, doing them both back to back, recording them back to back. This one will be coming out on May 1st, and then the next one will be coming up the next day. With this review, we'll be talking about Without Remorse, and then for my next review, we'll be talking about The Mitchells versus the Machines. So hope you guys enjoyed these reviews. But let's get into Without Remorse because I saw that one earlier today. I just wrapped up The Mitchells versus the Machines, so we'll get into that one in a second. But so Without Remorse is the latest in the adaptations of Tom Clancy books. Obviously the most popular character in Tom Clancy's books are, of course, Jack Ryan, who has been played by numerous actors: Harrison Ford, Chris Pine, most recently I think it was John Krasinski. And now we have Without Remorse, which is also the second most popular character that I know. Tells the story of John Clark, I believe his name is, as he is a part of these Navy SEALs, these assassins, and then through some government interventions and some mystery, Michael B. Jordan's character John Clark's family gets killed, and then sends him on a path of revenge to find out who killed his family. Now the film is directed by, I just gotta remember his name. I know the name, I just can't pronounce it to save my life. It's Stefano Sollima, and if that name sounds familiar, he actually directed Sicario 2, Sicario Day of the Soldado. And if you're also wondering, is anybody else from that film involved? Taylor Sheridan is also involved. He has co-written the screenplay. He was the one who wrote the first Sicario, the second Sicario. He's also written and directed a film called Wind River, and he's also has a film coming out this year called Those Who Wish Me Dead. So, and he's a very good screenwriter. I really like his work on both Sicario films. And I didn't love Sicario 2 from what I've seen. Admittedly, I've not seen the whole thing, but just from the stuff that I've seen from it, it looked promising enough. So maybe I'll give it a full watch just to see how it fully played out. But we're talking about Remorse. So the first thing that I will definitely say that definitely caught my attention is that I think that the combat is very good. The action itself is gritty, and it has a lot of style and a lot of entertainment value that keeps you engaged in that front. And I found just the action itself to be one of the better traits and the better qualities of the film. And I also found Michael B. Jordan to be quite engaging at times. I mean, there are times where I wouldn't say he's hamming it up, but it feels like that he's kind of going a bit over the top. And I feel it's more him than the director, because I also think the direction and the structure itself of the film is actually decent. It's not great, but it's decent. It gets mostly what it wants to do across. But I feel like some of the performance issues that I had is more or less coming from Michael B. Jordan, not much from the director's side of things. But I also thought through all these elements, we find ourselves in a suitable atmosphere and premise. Even though it is cliche and predictable, it is still engaging in some fronts. However, there are two glaring issues with this movie that honestly killed it for me. The first of which is the pacing. I found the pacing to be very quick and very choppy. I did not like that. I felt that it distracted a lot of the environment and just the characters themselves. And the huge issue with the film, in my opinion, is the excessive use of music. Like every single scene, there has to be music in the film, and I find that to be a very, very annoying and very distracting for me. And I also found through all that there is a lack of development in character, and it really just becomes a hollow version of itself towards the end, and I don't appreciate that, because for what Without Remorse, let me put it this way to sum it up. For what Without Remorse gets right, mainly in its gritty combat, a engaging Michael B. Jordan and a decent grip and direction and structure. It creates an atmosphere that feels satisfying, if yet shallow, because it does feel very shallow in many respects. But as I just laid out to you, the pacing and the overuse of music brings the film down in certain areas that I just wish, honestly, it didn't. Because at the end, I find myself very vanilla if I were to pick flavor. Because it's not terrible. Like, it's not a terrible movie. I've seen some reviews and some people have been trashing this film, and I don't think it's as bad as some people are making it out to be. Is it as good as like Taylor Striden's other work that he's done, like Sicario and stuff? No, of course not. Um, but for what it is and for what I enjoyed, I sit here saying this. It's not terrible, but it could have been better. And I think that's ultimately the best way to sum up Without Remorse is that there are some interesting elements that they have, and some of those elements actually do work. But unfortunately, the stuff that don't work, it do bring the film down a lot. And like I said at the end, it's not terrible, but it could have been better. But for all we have, it's fair. That's the best word for Without Remorse. It's just fair.